Hello everyone, welcome to Tim Talks Audio Live. We're going to be doing some mixing today. Firstly, I want to thank you all for joining me so far. I appreciate all the feedback that you guys give me and that you actually take the time out of your day to come hang out with me, especially when I either do stuff for you guys per your requests, which is what we have been doing. We've been doing a lot of... why am I not seeing that? Dwayne, what up? Oh, there it is. What's up, Kyle? What's up, Dwayne? How come my chats wasn't opening? That's fine. I'll just switch over to this one. What we have been doing is we were mixing a song using only stock plugins. That's what we've been doing. We did 6 streams doing that. We started all the way up from from the drums all the way up to mastering. We had Brandon Allshouse come in and actually show us some tricks to do. What's up, Brett? He showed us some tricks to do in mastering using just stock plugins. Now, he's an awesome guy, but we're not doing that today. Today, I have work that I need to do, so you guys are going to join me. Now, what we're going to be doing is mixing this band called Spine. This is a live set from the 2019 This Is Hardcore Festival. It happens in Philadelphia every year, and it's filmed by hate56.com and Sunny, who's the founder and operator over there. And it's recorded by Landmine Studios and Len Carmichael. So big props and shout outs to those guys. Thank you guys for everything that you do for like preserving music and making sure that shows live on even in this weird age that's going on. It actually is a nice release to be able to still, watch live shows even though we can't attend them right now. Booth, what's going on? We're going to be doing some hardcore. This is Spine. It's a live set. Now, I'm going to say it right now. Some of these things came in a little rough. The vocals were kind of distorting on the way in. It is cleaned up a bit later on in the set, but there's nothing I could do. I can't re-record. I can't go back. I'm committed to what is in front of me. So we're going to do everything that we can to make this the best that it is. And one of the things that is requested of me, and I'm actually just going to switch it over. One of the things that's requested of me when I get these sets to mix is to almost make it as live as possible, as if you were actually there. And that's something I try to do, and hopefully it's something we'll be able to get through today. So I have super rough balances right now. I actually just hit play a second ago, and I'll probably rebalance some stuff because I'm not thrilled with where it is. But I did a lot of like that pre-edit and pre-mix stuff like a couple weeks ago, so I have to refamiliarize myself with this mix. But hopefully there's some stuff that you'll watch today, you'll find out, you'll learn, and feel free to throw questions into the chat. I'll be looking up every once in a while, trying to address anything and everything that I can. So if you have a question, or if you're like, hey, how did you do that, or anything like that, just let me know in the chat. Let's just get into it. I'm just kind of going through and doing this. Okay. Also, here's something to note. Let's go over to our guitars. This whole set is a mono guitar. So it's one bass player, one guitar player, a vocalist who may or may not be the guitarist or the bass player. I'm not fully sure because, again, I've done a stream like this before. I don't get to see the videos until they come out. So I have no idea what's happening. I just have to trust my ears and use those when I'm mixing. So... all right, let's get into it. I've taken the rooms out as well because I'll blend those in later, and I'm going to make it nice airy, sound like you're in there using the stuff that was recorded. Here we go. So you can already hear this vocal came in pretty rough. I'm just going to solo a spot right here. That's clipping on the way in, and unfortunately there's nothing I can do to kind of fix that. What's going on, Victor? Thanks for coming in and hanging out. There's nothing I could do to fix his vocal, so I just have to clean it up the best I can. But like I said, like here it is right here. And you can tell he's like way on there, but later in the set, maybe it's a little better. and it's not. And this is what we get. This is what we have to work with, and that's just all it is. But what we can do real quick is actually just reference the rooms. So it's a thing. All right, let's get this balance in here somewhere. About the 5-minute mark was a good spot. So these are my overheads, and they're picking up a lot of like the extra stuff that's going on. Let's see if we can do some cleanup on them. And also, I'm not restricting myself to stock plugins anymore. That was a thing that we did. So I'm going to use what's in my arsenal to make sure that things sound good. There's already something way up here. That whistling is just in our overheads. It's like right in this area. And you can hear that there's just so much that happens in these overheads, but it's live. You know, that's what it is, and we gotta work for it and make it what it needs to be. Put this back in the mid. Oh wait, no, not in the mid. Put this back in the stereo field. Just kind of actually get rid of it. I don't want to take too much of this out. I'm actually thinking about making it dynamic. This way, when that hat happens, like that's when it really crushes down. So let's try that real quick. You there, but really kind of slam down. So I wonder if I can... feel like I need another one doing a very similar kind of thing. So that's what I'm going to do, is make it tight, put it there, make it dynamic, and find that other resonance that's killing me right now. And then we'll move on from there. So this one right here and this one right here are my samples, and I'll just make them a slightly different color so we can see that. Pull them out for now, and that might not even be the right sample. Again, I put this sample in weeks ago. So let's do a little bit of cleanup on that snare. If you can't hear it, let's do that. This it sounds like the top head was very loose, and I could have used some tuning, but that's fine. Now, unfortunately, this is it's at 150, so that's not really something that we want, but eventually we will do like a nice little low mid bump like this, but it's about compromise. There we go. 425. That is a lot of stuff that we don't want. Now, usually around this like low mid, like this 200 area is like a lot of the body of this snare, but there's this annoying ring that we want to get rid of. But even though it's a live set, it's not like we can't use samples and just to enhance some stuff. So this sample that's in here right now has a lot of attack to it. And let's see, which one was that again? Let's pull that back up. Spank. This is either from Joey Sturgis's drum pack from Drum Forge, or this. Yeah, no, this is the Joey Sturgis pack from Drum Forge. I did a video for him a while ago, so check that one out if you want. It's a great sounding great sounding pack of samples. So there's still just way too much of that low mid going on. Right there. I'll widen that out. So throwing an expander on here will really help with some of those resonances, because it's not just going to be ringing the whole time when he's like just doing whatever. Seth, thank you for making this series. Learning a lot. My mix is getting better by the day. Thanks to you. Seth, that means so much. Thank you very much for hanging out and learning stuff. It really thrills me to hear that and to learn it. So I feel like my drum balances are way off. So I'm just gonna go ahead and reset. So I'm gonna take my buses down, the kick is down all the way, so I'm not worried about that. I want all these guys down, my overheads, and then let's just solo the drums. And really, my balances are all over the place, but I'm just starting this mix, so that's fine. So let's do a little bus compression before we get into this kick. The kick needs a lot of help, but I'm going to do a little bit of bus compression on my drums. I want this to be dual mono mode, so that's what this little guy right here is doing. Is instead of it being stereo linked, it's just dual mono. That's what's going on like this. Hi Marp, thanks for joining me. How you do? Let's see. Attack we can have kind of fastish. Well, slowish, excuse me, medium slow-ish, but we'll play around with that. We don't need it to slam. Maybe we could just to kind of like tame those transients, but we want to glue everything together. Let's start with a 4-to-1 and let's dial it in. Let's go back to just the drums. Woo! Now, first we need to address that kick. I'm going to also expand the kick kind of a lot, even though I don't want to completely kill the ambience of everything. So it's going to be a fast attack, fast release. I also don't want to be doing a blast beat right now, so I'm going to get away from that and move forward a bit. Now I want you to listen to let's do this. We're going to find like the honk of that kick drum, like just the boxiness. So there's a lot of like kind of this kind of sound right around here. And if we just go to 0, I think that's it right there. What is that? 640. It's not something I need in this kick drum. So I'm going to widen it out because I know that it's like the boxy area. And I'm just going to do like a little mid scoop on this. Let's go to 0. It's a little bit more aggressive than I expected, but it needed it. Do I need to high pass? Maybe not, but it's live, so I do want to get rid of some of the extra rumble. I don't want to go too high because I don't want it to take away the body and the thump that I'm going to get from down here, which you're probably not going to hear if you're on like a mobile device. You're in SAE class right now, and we're mixing drums too. Hey, oh, what's up, Jerry? Thanks for stopping in. Also... Oh, that's Jerry subbing. Thanks for the sub, man. Yes, well, drums are very subjective. It's like it's really you have to listen to the song. You have to play the drums, or excuse me, mix the drums to the song. This way, they blend into the rest of the thing, which is why I kind of go in and out of solo. But this is live, and I want that thump there for anybody that listens to these or watches these videos on like their big home stereo. What's going on, Jerry? Hey. Keep studying in class and tell the people at SAE I say, hey, that's where I went. And you know that. I feel like there's still some more mid resonance that I want to find. So I'm going to use this other band. So I think it's lower. So I'm going to put this one as low as it can go, which I think is only... Oh, it is. Okay, okay. So we know that 0.64 was where we were with the low mid frequency. And thankfully, 640 is within the range of the high mid. So I'm just going to copy the settings over. This was like 1. And this is -9. And now I can use... Oops. -9. I can use this guy, reset it real quick, and find that other frequency that is not nice that I think is much lower. Sounds like it's the octave below at 300, and I'm just going to take a little bit less of that out. Let's go back to 0, and then I'll boost it, and so it's actually 270. I'm going to widen it out and take some of it out. Mind you, this is on the kick bus. This is everything. What's going on? Mo Jordan? Or Jardin? More Jardin. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for hanging. I'm just doing a little bit of the click and the attack of the kick drum from up here, and we got a good amount of thump going on down here. This is then going into the compressor, which is only doing a little bit. Now the ratio is set really high, but my threshold is set really high as well. So I'm only getting a little bit. It's not really limiting, but at the same time, it kind of is. I feel like I want to go into, well, actually, it's probably going to be the other one. I want to go mic by mic and listen to them. So this is a Shure Beta 91, which is this very common kick in mic. It gets a lot of the click. Make sure that this is doing its thing, which it is. Lots of, there's minor phase stuff happening. I'm just going to steal the same EQ for the, what I believe is the kick out mic, which is the PR40 from Heil. So I want to get these toms in here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to steal my snare. I'm just going to quickly reset all my EQs, but I do want the filters are fine. I'm going to reset the dynamics, but I want the expander. That's what I wanted. So I think that was this one. Nope, it wasn't. I did the wrong one. Way to go. Low tom. Okay. Beep, up, boop, boop, beep. Just resetting everything real quick because I just stole it from the snare channel. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Let's do 12 dB. That's fine. That's fine. Nope. That. Okay. Now that was low tom. I want to replace mid tom. So now we just have a little expansion going on. Because I don't want to cut it off completely, but I just want to push all that extra noise out of the way. And then very quickly, let's do... Okay. So there's not a lot going on in the low tom, and if I really wanted, which I might, is I could duplicate this and then just throw another trigger in, which maybe I'll do. I'll put that in, but I'll clear this thing. Clear slot. Yes. Browser. Drums. Ooh, I got a lot going on. Let's do... let's audition real quick. We can do original, because I know Joey sent toms. So I want like a floor tom. I want something low. Nope. That's low. Maybe that. Tom boom, tom bottom. Let's throw that in. Just to have it. And we know that it's there. And then real quick rename. Sample. I do want to roll off some of the highs and the top ends because I'm going to let the overheads take care of all of that. And it's really just kind of letting some extra bleed from those overheads coming in. I don't need any of that in this low tom. But what I do want is to find the body of this low tom and thump it up. Let's go crazy. But here's the negative part is because now what I could do is put my dynamics before because I don't probably not going to use the compressor on this. So I can do the dynamics before the EQ. This way, this big boost that I'm doing isn't triggering the expander to open a bit more. It's actually, I had it right the first way because I don't want that dynamics to the channel out because that puts the dynamic section after the EQ. So right now it's going filters, dynamics to EQ side. So it can be a little bit more aggressive. Right now it's overcompressed, yes, but it's also, it was clipping a little bit on the way in, but we're going to fix all of that. Because the only compression that I have going on, here's my bus compressor. On my snare, let's find a little spot. Maybe 3 dB. My kick, tickling 3 dB. It's really not a lot of compression going on right now. I don't even have any bus compression going on, like on my mix bus. I have stuff in there that I'll probably put in a little bit, but it's not a lot going on right now. It's also very dry. There's not a lot of, there's no like reverb or anything going on right now to have it have some openness and expansion. All right, so that's that. I want to figure these toms again real quick. Little resonance going on right there. I'm going to pull some of it out. What monitors am I using? I have right now, because I'm working with a lot of like the low end stuff, I'm working on my Kali Audio LP8s. And I do have some room correction going on, which is this last plugin at the end here. It's Fab Filter. But it's only doing some stuff for me. You guys can't hear what this is doing. It could be YouTube messing it up a little bit. And that's unfortunate. But there's really not a lot of compression going on. So it must be on like the encoding or the decoding setting. So I very quickly just made a toms bus because there's still a lot of like that low mid. So that's just showing you all of like the bleed that's coming in from these live mics. Just joined. What are we mixing? Sorry, the text is real small over here. Sheridan, we're mixing Spine from This Is Hardcore 2019. And you're using EQ like Sonar works for room correction? No, that was FabFilter Pro Q3 that I'm using for room correction. And I found this curve in combination with using REW and an RTA mic that I have. I'm actually going to be doing some work soon too, because I need to put a cloud in above me. And thank you for the sub. I couldn't catch that name, actually. I got to change that graphic because I can't read it. But thank you for the sub. All right, let's move on to this bass and see what's going on here. Here's our bass DI. Nice feedback from a bass guitar. Doesn't happen that often, but when you put distortion in line with a bass, obviously it can happen because we're also distorting the entire frequency spectrum. So that's why you can hear it happening right here. Now, I'm curious. What I'm going to do real quick is take my bass DI, do a full duplicate of it. And I'm going to throw that was Facebook. Why did I start typing Facebook? I'm going to throw FabFilter on. I'm going to put a high cut. I just want to see if I can get like a super clean low end. So I'm going to take those other guys out. So I kind of can. It's a little woofy, especially, I mean, I'm brick walling it, but I kind of don't want. So from 42 hertz up to 237, which I actually might scale that back just a hair, just because I don't want too much buildup in that low mid 250 area. I can use this to really add some beef to the bass, and it's just the same DI. I'm just getting rid of all of the top end distortion that's already in there. And then if I really wanted, I could do something on the other DI in a very opposite kind of way and go up to, what was that? Let's just say it was 230. Woo! That's right, we still have those vocals in. Okay, so that's decent. Let's find a good spot for it though. I just want my drums and bass. So there's another thing, is the DIs and the bass mic could be out of phase. Let's find just like, he's got a couple slaps over here. So it's a little bit behind the mic itself. What we could do is, if I really wanted, I could take this guy and actually just line him up. Like, oh, come on. Hello, why are you not doing what I asked you to? Well, I was going to slide him over. Oh, maybe because I have this on. Oh, because it's all the way at the beginning of the... That makes sense now. Sorry. Let's get the mixer out of here. And what I can do... Whoop! There. Because I didn't need any of that anyway. It's all going to get cut. So now I can take just the mic. I'm not going to do it the noise. I want some kind of a slappy percussive thing. Like that. This guy right here. See how these two, which are, duplicates of themselves? What I can do is kind of eyeball the waveforms. So that one's off a bit. This one is actually that. And I am still going to flip the phase on it, on just the mic channel itself. But this should be a lot closer now. So there's still a lot going on with this bass, and what we can actually do is go in and throw. I'm going to use Pulse. Pulse is actually really good. I'm going to use a cab impulse. So he, on his DI, he already had a distortion pedal going in line that was before the DI pedal. So I can take these two things, which is my new balance of the DIs, like my filtered low end and my, my straight up bass DI, which also has the filtered off low end. And then we can just throw a cab impulse on here. And now I just have to find it, which is in here. I need this to load because I got a lot of stuff on this drive. Okay, guitar IRs. Let's try I think Panda has a pretty good bass cabs. Yeah. So we're just going to go with the waves. Channel A is fine. And we'll just grab this one and we'll take a listen. So I think that's actually a lot better. Let's take a listen to that. Do you worry about tempo changes? How do you work around that? No, I don't worry about tempo changes. I don't worry about tempo changes at all. This is live. There's supposed to be tempo changes, and it's not supposed to be perfect. The entire idea of these sets and the mixes of this going to 856 is to make it feel like you're there, to make it feel like you're in the show. And like watching some of these videos, if you've ever seen any of them from 856.com, you know, people are nuts. They're just going crazy for this stuff. The pit's open, people are throwing down, and I don't care about any of that because I want it to feel raw. Like hardcore is the new punk, so you want it, or punk is hardcore. Like they're kind of the same these days. So I don't care about any of that. I just want it to sound good, and really what matters is what comes out of the speakers and how you feel with that. And I can't change that once it's out in the open. And that was something I stole from Andrew Sheps. I watched another interview of him just the other day. I think he was talking at Oxford. That's a great video. So look up Andrew Sheps, Oxford. I think it was 2006. Doesn't matter when it was. It doesn't matter everything that you say up until you hit play, because you can either set yourself up for you know, lower expectations of people going, oh well, you know, yeah, the vocals distorted that day, and blah, you know, and the drummer his timing was off. Doesn't matter. You don't say any of that. Like, hey, this sounds good. Take a listen. Let them come up with that. If they go, man, this is amazing. Awesome. You did your job. If they go, I think we could work on this, then that's more important. And you go back and you work on it. So let's do a quick A-B. Remember, I don't have any of the bass mic going on right now. I just have the bass DIs that I split. So I'm going to turn off my my cab impulse, and then I'm going to turn it back on. Yeah, it's a great interview from Andrew Sheps. All right, so without the impulse. Let's find a better spot. So it smooths out a lot of that distortion. Does it like get rid of too much? Yes. I think so, but I can now go in. That's not what I wanted. I wanted this. And I can actually just kind of bring some back. Now we can do a Studio One trick. I'm going to throw a splitter in. Throw in a splitter. And I'm going to make this a frequency split. And I'm going to do, let's say, 200. So now, if I disconnect this one, which is going to be that, right? So now, okay, here. Everything that is on my low end, so 200 hertz below, what I can now do is add that compressor. Just a stock compressor is fine. And I can put this on my low end and have this one have the side chain from the kick. Now I'm only going to side chain the low end whenever the kick hits, and that's what I want. So I can actually just turn the one on the bass DI off. So this is our frequency spectrum of the vocalist itself. It's very mid-rangey. It sounds very cupped. Sorry, I'm just checking some stuff real quick, making sure I haven't missed anything. Super mid-range, super cupped, already like low cut, kind of hard. Oh, don't worry about that. Let's go to this guy right here. Now, am I looking to get intelligibility out of this? No, because I'm not going to get it. But I want it to be cleaner so that you can almost get it there. There's a lot of stuff missing, so we're going to have to make it up somehow. First thing is I want to find that, like, the really bad distortion and see if I can get rid of it. It's looking like this little guy right here. Where was it? Smart crew, get the city. Show these folks so. Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of clarity. Smart crew, get the city. Show these folks so. When he backs off the mic, you can kind of understand him, but when he's right on it and cupping it up. Smart crew, get the city. Show these folks so. So it'll definitely be something to try and salvage. We're doing this in when the guitars haven't been touched at all. Whenever he's breathing, there's a lot of that same telephone-y kind of sound. So we'll do what we can. The last plugin made a big difference. Now, did it make a difference or did it make it louder? That's something to pay attention to. Is I'm trying to balance these because this is gain reduction. This is gain reduction 1 from Joey Sturgis Tones. And it's an awesome compressor limiter with a little EQ built in, and it's got a built-in lo-fi, which we definitely do not need for this song. I mean, if we just solo it. It's actually not terrible. -3 is about, or -3.5, I think is the default for that. Yeah, it's close enough. JJP vocal for word intelligibility. I could. 1, I don't have it, so that's going to be difficult. 2, gain reduction does make a huge difference. It helps a lot. And honestly, when it's in lo-fi, it does get rid of a lot of that extra body. But for JJP vocal, the intelligibility is really, we have to find it with EQ, but then kind of like hash it out between all of the extra air that's in there. Now, my guess by just listening is that, I mean, we could look it up real quick, but I think the vocalist for Spine is also like a guitar player. At least for this show, it may have been. It cleaned it up to me. Yeah. I might leave that lo-fi on. And then let's see if we can find like some extra stuff in an EQ after the fact. Now, I want you to take a look at this. This is the frequency response after the fact. I'm going to put this one over here while I open up the original one. So look at the two charts after gain reduction. It kind of shows you what that lo-fi button is doing. It's almost like it took this high cut that I have going on and just brought it back down to almost like 5K. Like it really made it kind of like this. Let's go over here. So something we can do for a few different things is on the vocal itself is we can throw a little reverb on here, and I've done this in a different set. I can do medium club is a decent preset, and just bring our mix way down. So like I'm going to bypass it. And then I'm going to put it back in. It gives it a little length, it gives it a little room, plus the rooms themselves. Because just a straight up vocal like that, it's you don't want to sit there and listen to it. It's actually really fatiguing to listen to just a screamy vocal. So throwing a little reverb on there and just having a small amount in like a wet dry, especially since it's just one vocal, I can just put it right on here. I don't have to do like a bus or anything. It'll give a little bit of life to this vocal. You guys see me try and do a little Karate Kid right there? There's like a little fruit fly in here. There's your room sounds with feedback going on, and then swept through. Happens. Now, I am a little curious what's going on over here. The guitar is just cut off, and let's just check everything else. It looks like this is where the vocalist is talking to the crowd, so let's confirm that. If he even decides to talk to the crowd. Nope, they just took a break. They needed a rest, they needed some water. But you can hear that. Yeah, got to clean up a lot of that mud, but you don't want to get rid of everything in the room. And really, it's just these two tracks going into the fab filter. A little extra thump for the low ends. I took the sides and I made them bright to kind of push them out to the side a little bit more. Got rid of some like exact mid range just to scoop that out, and some low mids just to clean up the mud. Let's rewind a little and then do like a A-B. What I might do actually is for this low end, let's see if we can make it kind of like an upward expansion. And I'm going to scale this side brightness back because I want it to be bright. Can I hear the kick? Oh wait, the hardcore is rock in you. Yeah, hardcore. Well, what I'm curious, what's hardcore to you? I'm sorry for the confusion. Yes, different music has different, goes by different names. Did I get it? Goes by different names in different countries. I'm curious, one, where you're from, and two, what you consider to be hardcore. This is hardcore metal. Sorry for the confusion. It was water time. Sorry, I'm just checking stuff real quick, making sure that, seeing if I have like a phone call that I need to get on, which I don't. Cool. So yeah. It's all rock and roll. Thanks, Ripley. Not gonna lie, I love heavy metal and such a lot too, but I like hardcore, like boom, 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 boom in my country, in the Netherlands. It's very different. Yes, well, welcome from the Netherlands. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be different. If you're interested, Ruler and Sick Mode are examples. I'm gonna check that out after this stream because I do want to. I want to hear what you are calling hardcore. This is like hardcore punk rock kind of stuff, hardcore metal. So sorry for the confusion. I hope you want to stick around in case like maybe you start working with some stuff like this. I think this is actually getting kind of close, and what we can do. To compare, I don't know if anybody has seen this button right here, all activate all inserts. So we can kind of do like a quick before and after of our entire mix. So here it is before, here it is after. And it went silent for you because it turned the send off. So let's just go like this. And I actually want to grab everything. I want to grab all of these. And now I can turn them all off. And you can actually hear a before and after instead of me muting the output to you guys. Because, all right, before. I meant after. I'm curious. I want to, on my guitar bus, which is really, it's only just one guitar, I'm going to do a little sidechain compression because I want to see if when the snare hits, I can kind of duck the guitar out of the way to have it have a little bit more presence. Oh, thank you. Thank you for being so nice and for telling me about the bands and the stuff that you like. And I'm thrilled to go and check it out after this. If anybody else is still watching, go check out, I have to read it again, Ruler and Sick Mode, to hear what some of the Netherlands hardcore stuff is. So let's compare the snare and the guitars, because when everything was in, I'm losing the snare a little bit, and I don't want to. Now, that's another thing to kind of keep in mind during a live set, especially when he's doing like blast beats and stuff like that, is the strength of the drummer that's going on. Do you like Pantera? Yes, I like Pantera. Metallica? I like the stuff that's, I like the older stuff that was on the radio. I don't go deep with Metallica. Accept and Such, or do you not know them? They're a little bit more soft, but still awesome. Except I don't know. That'll be another one that I'll look up after this. But Pantera, yeah, love Pantera. They're a great band, very influential. Metallica, obviously, one of the big fours, and hugely influential to so many different people. Now, like I said, I am not the biggest Metallica fan. I do like the old stuff that was on the radio. I never went deep in the albums. So, like, if you name anything that wasn't on the radio, I may have heard it, but I wouldn't know it. But obviously, still influential. They're still doing their thing these days anyway. If it's good, that's subjective, and I'm not getting into that, but they're still doing their thing. So we're doing pretty good. We're messing with the guitars to see if we can get it out of the way snare drum. I'm glad you find it funny. Do I need a designer? You know what? Shoot me an email and we'll talk there instead of, because like I'm going to be wrapping up this live stream relatively soon. Shoot me an email and we'll talk. I'd love to just connect with you and see what you got. I'd love to see your stuff. Like thumbnails, face cam, banner, logo, anything. You know what? I'd love to talk to you because I'm using some of the stuff that's like available for free. But if it's custom stuff, maybe we can work something out. Please shoot me an email. I'm gonna see. Oh, I can't type it in there, but I could probably do it here. info@timflansbaum.com. And if you really need, you can just hop into in the description. There should be a link to my site, and you just reach out to me there. Everything's in there. So go down into the description. There's a link to my website in there. Click it. Uh-oh. Is that the thing? At 4:30. Okay, cool. I got a little time. I have a call at 4:30, so I need to finish before then. Check out Bone Sickness, Theater of Morbidity, excuse me, for some great American hardcore. Yeah. Also, if you're looking for more American, yeah, please, thank you. If you are looking for more American hardcore style, like punk rock, heavy metal kind of stuff like this, I don't know if you joined earlier, but this is going to be for the website hate56.com, HATE, the number 5 SIX.com. This is going to get. This is from the This Is Hardcore set from the band Spine, and once this mix is done and approved by Sonny and Len, it'll get put up shortly thereafter. Actually, one that I did, the band Laid to Rest, just came out yesterday, so go check that one out. That was something I mixed a couple weeks ago. I'm trying to finish up Spine. I have one more to do, which I'm probably going to do. Maybe we'll do Thursday's stream will be that. Maybe I'll just work on it tomorrow. Let's finish up this one. So there we go. I very quickly added in one of my favorite plate reverbs right now, which is Soundtoys Little Plate. It's so easy. It's so simple. It's 3 controls. The length, or it's 4 controls really. The length of the plate, the mix knob, a low cut filter, and then a modulation switch right here. That's it. Nico came from Hate56. He said you're doing a live stream and glad I joined, learning so much. Nico, thanks for joining. I'm thrilled to hear that Sonny was able to share this out. We're getting close on this one. This is Spine. Hey, you already sent me an email. That was so fast. I have my phone right here. I shouldn't, but I do. Okay, so the snare was really dry. I'm going to play just the snare soloed. Now, there's body to it. It's okay. There's a little extra ring in there. Maybe we'll address that. But it's dry. There's not a lot going on. I looked up Little Plate because I love using this one, especially for snare. I shortened it down. It's now at 0.779, 0.8. I don't want it to be too long. I could actually probably bring this all the way down to half a second, but I'll kind of split the difference. And then I added this to a bus real quick. When you do that, you can go to the browser. You can search for any of your effects. And then I wanted to put it on a send. And I wanted it to be a post-fader send, which is just the default anyway. And actually, I want these to be boop, beep, all pre-fader sends. Yeah, you guys were just talking about accept, or who called out accept a little bit ago? I think it was you, Asirk. I hope I'm saying that right, Asirk. That's what I'm going to stick with anyway. So yeah, you can find your effect. You can drag it into your send, but then if you hit Option on a Mac or Alt on a PC, it won't be an effect send, it will be a bus send, and I prefer using buses. And if the only thing I have to do is put it at the solo isolate, that's easy for me. So then here's our dry snare again. Hey, odd question. You bought an AT2035 but forgot about the Neat King B. Joel, I'm going to be honest. I don't think I know the Neat King B. At least it's not ringing a bell. I'm just going to do a quick Google search. Neat King B. What is this? Let's see. The Neat King B is a microphone. Honestly, I've never heard of it before. The AT2035s are solid microphones. They're the bigger brother of the AT2020s, which are very vastly available. A lot of like streamers use it, and it's a decent starter mic. I think a 2020 goes for $100, maybe $200. Very quickly looking. King B cardioid condenser mic. Okay, this looks like it. I mean, it's certainly an interesting shape. It's square. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I want to show you guys real quick. Let's see if I can do it. It's a square mic. The body is square like that. That's interesting. I don't know. It's a great question. I have to learn more about this mic. And honestly, what I'll do is I'm going to reach out to the company and see. It's a large animal that looks like a bee. I'm going to reach out to them and see if maybe I can do a little review for them. And then I can let you know. I don't know it right now. Honestly, I think I saw real quick the price point was about $130, $150, somewhere in that range. Those are all comparable mics, depending on the sound source. You really have to judge things depending on the sound source. Although if your choices are limited, come on! I think I got it. If your choices are limited, you use the best thing that's out there. Oh, I'm gonna get this fruit fly, or it's gonna get me. Maybe the other way is better. He's like really killing me right now. Whatever. podcast stage reviewed it as well. Mike D did a video about it compared to a Lewitt. Lewitt makes some great mics. Lewitt makes great mics. A little higher in. Did I just click that off? Lewitt makes great mics. A little bit higher in the price range, but still quality stuff that they put out. Everything in that price point is okay, but every diaphragm in every microphone sounds a little bit different, and all the internals and how things are wired and what, microfarads the capacitor has. Like, really, it's all about like the build and the source. Not every microphone sounds great on every source. Like a U87, everybody goes, oh, you want to go easy, just throw a U87 in front of it. I've thrown U87s in front of stuff that people have been like, oh, it's perfect, you have to use it, and it just didn't work. And then I would throw it up on something where maybe it shouldn't be, and it was awesome. So it really is source dependent. Depends on the source, depends on what you're recording, depends on how you're recording it, depends on the genre, depends on the weather, depends on the person's mood that day. So many different things play into it. There's days where, even on this, the SM58, $100 microphone, well, actually 115 because I got the one with the switch that I accidentally turned off a minute ago, I think. There's days that I don't sound good on this. I hate the sound of my voice on this, but it's solid. 2, I have it. 3, it gets the job done. I mean, you really can't go wrong with a 58. I think I'm sweaty. Sorry. So I traded my trusty SM58 to my mom. Moms need microphones too, and got the SEX1S in exchange. The wiring is screwed up with the soldering. I dropped it, took it apart. Generally, inside of any dynamic mic, there's not a lot going on. I have actually, I think this is a knockoff 57. And I just want to show you guys real quick. I know we're supposed to be mixing, but I'm just going to show you real quick. Inside of any dynamic microphone or any simple dynamic microphone, there's not a lot going on. So I'm going to crack this guy open. And you can tell he's already broken. From the middle here, you're going to see 2 things. You're going to see the capsule and its connections here. And I think you're seeing that pretty well. And literally it would solder to here and to here. On these 2 points would be these 2 wires coming off of the transformer. This one has a green and a yellow wire. And if I remember correctly, this is the knockoff 57 that I have that I think somebody bought real cheap on eBay from China. It was very mid-rangey. It was very filtered. It didn't sound like a 57, but for a vocal mic or for an effect mic, it was really cool. I may fix this one day, or I may actually melt the wax and get the wax out and the transformer that's in there, because all that's happening is from the XLR, there are 3 cables that go into, or actually 2 cables that go into the transformer. From the transformer, it steps it up. Step up? I believe it's a step up. It could be step down. Can't remember. And then it's those 2 cables. So it's really just a matter of 5 cables, like in total. That's it. So they're really easy to kind of like diagnose. Now, if the cables are all good and connected and everything, and you're still having problems, 1, it could be, a knockoff microphone. 2, it could be that the capsule is broken, and that's a much harder fix. I'm not sure if it's the XLR connector, because I picked it up because you picked up a radio station. That could have been the body of the microphone too, because those thin cables are not long enough to pick up radio station stuff. You need something with a little bit more length to get radio waves. Okay, yes, we're nerding out of a microphone. Let's try and finish this thing up, because I have a phone call that I need to get onto anyway in less than half an hour. So I think we're going to do like another 15 minutes. We'll wrap this up. If you guys have questions, please throw them into chat. I won't go off on another microphone tangent like that. But let's get into this and try and finish this up. So I don't know if you guys saw what I did with FabFilter Pro Q. I think they started with Pro Q2, but you can do it in Pro Q3, of course, because it's newer. In the analyzer, I can actually reference a side chain of any other instance of Q3 that I have going on in my track. So I wanted it on the guitars, the snare top, and that's what I'm looking at. That's what the red line is. So now I can go in and kind of like see if on my guitar track, if moving some stuff out of the way is going to make that snare kick through a little bit more. Before you go, can you show how you have two main out channels? One is labeled sub 1. Sure, I can do that. Let me just kind of do this guitars real quick. So hang out for a minute there, Seth, and we'll just handle these guitars and snare balance real quick. So I don't know if you guys heard that. When I threw FabFilter on both of them, actually now, before the snare was lost to me, now it's actually too loud. In my overheads, I want to get rid of some of this. Hey, thanks for swinging by, Joel. Reach out to me if you have more questions about your microphones or anything like that. Seth, I'm going to get into how I have the separate outputs. Let's just clean up these overheads real quick. Now I'm just curious if throwing the guitar slightly out to the side is actually just going to make a little bit more room for that vocal. think this is pretty close. I want to check some stuff down here on the mix bus, and I think it's going to be pretty close from here. This last one, I'm not sure if it's doing what I want it to do, so I'm just going to pull up the Slate version of the same thing, but there's a high-pass filter on here. And I kind of want it to avoid the low frequencies, and I'm just going to do a little bit of stuff. It's also got the ratios are different on here. What I want it to do is actually just kind of maybe tame the transients real quick. So I'm going to do fast attack, fast release. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say that that's really close. I'm probably going to print this, send it off to Sunny and Len, see what they think, and make any adjustments from there. Okay, now, very quickly, before we wrap up, which I definitely need to, Seth, you were asking about how I have two main out channels. I actually don't have two main outs. Here's how everything is broken down. All of my tracks, every single thing you have going on over here. So, like, I have... Actually, let me just collapse my folders because that'll make a little bit more sense. So everything in my folder is also a bus channel. All of my bus channels, so like all my basses are going to this bass bus. All my drums are going to my drum bus, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These are all going to this channel here, which is my mix bus. My mix bus is where I'm having, I do any kind of mix bus processing things that I need to do on here. The reason that I do this is, one, I can print it back in the session or do anything that I need to. Two, it allows me to be able to split my outputs for you guys as opposed to me. So like you might be seeing me come over here and clicking on this insert over here. This is my room correction EQ that I have on. But this doesn't go to you guys. So you do not hear this happening at all. This is just for me. And this only actually is for my Calis. It's not for my NS10s. I have a pair of NS10s that are right here, and then my Calis are over here. So this is just the correction curve for my Calis. That's why I have that way over here. Now, to see this, so I have it called sub 1. This is just another output that I have set up. And this is through my routing. This is how you guys get your sounds. So everything goes to my mix bus, and then I have a send from my mix bus to this other output, which is going out line 3 and 4 of my Apollo Twin. My Apollo Twin is sending that out, plus my microphone, to my capture card, and then my capture card goes to you guys. So everything that I do from the track selected to the left, that's all stuff that you guys can hear. The only other thing is if I throw stuff onto this channel, which is it's covered by my face right now. If I throw stuff onto this output channel here, then you guys will hear it, and only you will hear it. So I can go into here and just do some kind of crazy, just something gross like that, and only you guys will hear this. Like, I can sweep around all I want, and the only person who's going to hear it is everybody who's watching right now. But I don't want that, because that would just be bad. Let's get rid of this thing. So you guys get an exact copy of everything that's going out. I also have I'm able to adjust my output so that my mix going to the capture card isn't too hot. And that's definitely important, because I don't want to distort going to you guys. I'm just going to let YouTube do its compression, which is awful. And then that's it. Then everything that's going to my mix bus goes to my main as well, and it's not influenced by what's going to you guys. It's because that's a send. That's a separate isolated thing. And then my I/O looks like this. If I go to my song setup, and I go to my audio setup, and I go to outputs, I just have 2. I only have 2. I have my main outs, which are going out 1 and 2 essentially, and then the send to you guys, which is going out 3 and 4. Like I said before, that's just a send to a separate set of outputs and a separate thing. And that's how I have my stuff set up. Now I have, what do I have? Over there is a Presonus Quantum 2626. I was recently doing reviews with it. I'm going to be doing some more videos with it soon too. And I have a different I/O setup for that. Actually, I'm going to switch this to that, because we are going to wrap up after this. I have a different I/O setup for that, but it's essentially the same thing. It's a separate output. It's a separate set of outs, because, oh, did I get it? Oh, I think I got it. Because you guys need to be able to hear what I'm doing, and I don't want what I'm doing to not go to you guys or to be influenced by anything else. So it's a separate output. I do have some videos on my YouTube channel that go over like how to set up your I/O. And obviously everything is different for everyone, because you might not be using an Apollo Twin. You might be using a Quantum 2626, or you might be using the Presonus 192, or the Focusrite 18. Oop, I bumped the table. Or the Focusrite 18i20, or whatever it is. Or maybe you're using something way higher end. But the basics are in there. The video is available. It's called How to Properly Set and Configure Your I/O. And it's baseline information, because you have to judge what you need and make choices based on what you need. Yeah, so I'm going to call it at that. I do have a phone call that I need to hop on, so I have to call the stream short. We're just shy of 2 hours, which I think is pretty good. We went from, we actually did pretty good. Let's see if we can just do a quick, now my samples are going to go away, but we can do a quick before and after again, where we got in about 2 hours. And that's where we got up to. There's a little bit of reverb on the snares, a little bit of reverb on the vocal, just to clean it up a bit. Thank you for the explanation. I was wondering if you could use the same method for A being 2 sets of monitors. Thanks again for all of the knowledge. You could. I actually have, and I recommend doing something like a monitor controller, whether it be I have a Presonus Central Station, which is over here. I don't have the remote for it. I got it used, but I'm able to do 2 different sets of monitors on here. Plus I can click in a sub if I had one and wanted to, but I don't need one in my room. Hey, thank you for the sub. And you're on an audio box, 2222 VSL or 1818. Yeah. I'm mixing too since you came on. My ears are shot. Dude, that fatigue is a thing. Fatigue is real. That's why you do need to take breaks, and also check your levels in your room. Make sure your monitors are calibrated, because you don't want to be offset by one side to the other. So you want to make sure that everything is equal and balanced within your room. So you want to make sure that, you know, your left isn't at, let's say, 75 dB SPL and the right is at 80 dB SPL. That's a big difference. You can get really fatigued and offset doing that. Also, it's finding the frequencies that cause the fatigue, which is usually in the upper mid-range, like that harsh stuff that makes you not want to listen. That's the stuff that makes you not want to listen to a DJ, because for some reason every DJ has like 7K just screaming, and that, you know, whenever you're in a club or something like that, that's what you're making go, ooh. It's that upper mid-range, and like sibilance. It's that'll fatigue you in no time. Oops, I turned everything off. Didn't mean to do that. All right, so thank you all for coming out and joining me and hanging out while we did a mix of Spine from This Is Hardcore 2019. By the way, what DAW do you use at my day job? At the day job, we use actually a combination. I haven't been there in a bit, but it is Pro Tools. Because it's industry standard, everybody knows it, and you know it's available. But when I was there, or while I'm still there, I actually threw another one of my copies of Studio One onto the machine. That if there was stuff that we needed to do, we did a concert for Capital Cities. It was Capital Cities came and performed a concert, and they had a 40 input stage list, writer. They had a 40 input writer, and our setup of Pro Tools at the day job only could accept 32 ins, but we had Dante. So Dante is an audio networking protocol, and you can do more than that. But Dante with Pro Tools at the time only allowed 32 channels. So I threw a version of Studio One on, and we were able to get all 40 channels as a direct record of that live show. So that's been fixed. We do everything in Pro Tools now, just in case like somebody comes in and they're like, "Oh, I'm using Pro Tools at home. I want to mix this video to put it out, or I want to mix this for video to put it out later," or anything like that. We have Pro Tools because it is the industry standard. It's a very good tool. I used it for a very long time. I still use it. But my main now for stuff that I work on independently is Studio One. Right at the end. No, didn't get him. He's still around. Whatever. All right. I have to wrap it up. I have to hop on a phone call in a little bit. Thank you all for coming and joining and hanging out. I hope you learned some stuff. If you have more follow-up questions, leave them in the comments. I do check the comments on my videos. So go ahead and leave it here. If you enjoyed what you watched, I do a live stream every Tuesday and Thursday at 2:30 in the afternoon. It's not always hardcore music. Sometimes it's just educational stuff. We just finished up a series where I was only using stock plugins to mix a song, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Stock plugins are very good, but it was my approach on how to do this song. Those videos are all available on the YouTube channel. Like I said, if you have questions, drop them in the comments. If you want to learn more, you can go to my website, which is in the description, www.timflansbaum.com. Or if you just want to reach out, you can reach out to me there and say, "Hey, great job," etc., etc. And leave your comments. And thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me. I hope you learned some stuff. I'm probably repeating myself at this point. So that's where I'm just going to go ahead and say thanks for coming, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.